Hello everybody, Sean here, and today we're looking at the Crystal Tower, and we're going to go to the first boss, as the Crystal Tower does take a little bit of time to go through, so we're going to hit this one boss at a time. And the first boss is an interesting one. It has a few different mechanics. One of the biggest things, though, before we even get to the boss, is the overall Crystal Tower experience. It's a 24-man raid, so it's quite hectic. So one of the first things you need to really kind of get into your head is that although there are 24 people, you should only be concerning yourself with 8, unless you're, say, like a healer or a tank who has to have a little kind of spatial awareness. A healer could heal someone outside your alliance. A tank could tank an enemy outside of what you're typically supposed to be tanking. But from a DPS standpoint, which is where you are going to see the action, as I am playing on my Dragoon, the DPS just need to make sure they are attacking the right target at all times, and everything will be A-OK. The other thing before you really jump into the Crystal Tower is, although you can't control everyone, at max you can only go in with 8 friends, the other 16 are going to be random, do try to have some semblance of control and kind of establish what is going to happen when. Group A is going to be on this bad guy. Group C is going to be attacking here. Make sure you mark targets. You aren't going to see a whole lot of that in this, as unfortunately my group was kind of just doing whatever they wanted. Worked out most of the time, but it is best to have some order to all this chaos. So for instance, this battle could actually be going a little differently, as you can actually pull all the homunculus without engaging the dragons themselves. So you can ignore the 2 dragons, pull all the homunculus, kill them first, then kill the dragons. As for this actual fight, it's not too hard. Have a tank grab either all the homunculus, grab some of the homunculus, whatever they need to do, kill those. If you do gain aggro on the dragons, I mean, there are 6 tanks total in the alliance. Have a tank grab one Valve 4, have a tank grab another Valve 4, as you're seeing right now. Split them apart, tank them, it's not a big deal. The kind of other mechanic to this fight is the poison on the ground. Once battle begins, you'll see that this poison will rise and fall, rise and fall. The only safe spot are the highest, most elevated green platforms. The secondary platforms can sometimes become swamped, although not always. And the very bottom will often be completely covered in poison. You'll take 200 damage every time you step in it, and then if you continue to remain in it, it's going to be 200 damage or again and again and again. So you will quickly die. So you do need to keep that in mind. As you can see, when the battles begin, no poison on the floor, but it will rise, and if you're caught in it, it's going to do a ton of damage if you don't get out ASAP. The second fight is against imps and demons, and it's going to be very similar to the first. You can in fact pull all of the imps without engaging the demons at all. However, if you do engage the demons, it's the same thing as before. Split them up, tank them on separate sides of the arena, while another tank or 2 grab all the imps up and you can kill them. Once they are down, focus on the demons. These beginning fights aren't very hard. It's almost like it's the bonding experience, because once you get through these, things really start to heat up. So think of this as the time to get to know your fellow alliance member. Hopefully they are nice and courteous. My alliance, unfortunately, not the most organized or the most experienced, but we did have a good laugh. We had a couple pretty funny characters with us, keeping spirits high, even though there are a few unfortunate wipes. Third section, similar to the first, you can notice that there's 3 elevations of floor. The very bottom is going to be swamped in poison most of the time. The second floor area is going to sometimes be covered, and the only safe spot at all times, there you can see the poison rising, the only safe spot will be these green platforms. And similar to the first 2 encounters, you can in fact pull just the eyes. You can completely ignore the what are they called? What are they called this time? I know they're called succubuses in some places. I call them some very inappropriate names, Diras. You can in fact just pull the eyes and ignore the Diras for now, but again, if you do aggro the Diras, it's a very simple matter of just having a tank grab one, pull them far away. You should focus down the eyes first, but the Diras do need to be away from the group, just so that their AoEs don't cause too much of a problem. Although, do remember, they do have that long range, I believe, yeah, Void Fire. They can kind of blast that halfway across the universe, it seems, so do keep in mind if you see something, an AoE appear underneath you, you need to get out of the way ASAP. Also, the dungeon is not naturally this fast, the footage is sped up, in case you thought, for some crazy reason, that the dungeon had some sort of wacky speed bonus to it. That is, in fact, not true. So here we go into the very first boss. So the first thing you're going to notice, the platforms, the poison, same as before, jump cut, because this is take number 2. We wiped on the first battle, and I'll explain why. So the green platforms play a key role in a few moments, and I will get to that. Starting out, you actually don't want to go DPS heavy on the boss. In fact, you'll see me come in, I attack for about 5 seconds, I get out. The reason for this is you actually don't want to kill the boss instantly. He has, we'll say, 3 phases. 4 phases. The first phase is just him. Nothing's going to happen. The second phase, boom, 2 skeletons pop. So what you need to do is have your tanks grab hate on the skeletons. It doesn't matter what tank grabs hate, all that's unimportant. As long as one of the tanks grabs hate, you pull the skeleton as far away from the dragon as you can, and you kill him on a green platform. So again, skeleton spawns, tank has to grab hate, pull as far away as you can, and kill it on a green platform. The other key to this, point number 2 in the bullet point list, only 1 skeleton can die per platform. So you can see we've killed multiple skeletons now, and we're splitting them up, 1 platform for each skeleton. The reason for this will happen very shortly. So what happens is 2 skeletons spawn, you do that. Dragon gets to about 50%. 2 skeletons spawn, do it again. At around 75% health, gone. 2 more skeletons spawn, gotta do it again. During this time, the dragon is still going to be able to take damage. It is very important, and I cannot stress the very enough here, that you do not kill the dragon before the last skeleton dies. So skeleton number 6 has to be dead before the dragon dies, or else you will have some very serious repercussions. Alright, so dragon goes down, 6 skeletons already dead. So what happens now is they all resurrect. The skeletons, that is. They're going to slowly start marching towards the center of the map now. During this wave, they are pretty slow moving. So what you want to do is just DPS down every skeleton very quickly. You can see I killed 1. I'm looking around the arena for another one. You can see 1, I find 1, and I jump on over, and I start killing this. And they're slowly marching towards the center the whole time. If they get to the center, if they touch the dragon, they will launch off a gigantic raid-Y AoE. Unavoidable, it'll do anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 damage. If 1 skeleton touches the dragon, not a big deal. It's pretty survivable. 2 of them, you're going to be pushing your luck. If 3 skeletons touch the dragon, pretty well a guaranteed wipe. Doesn't matter who you are going to go down to that. So that is why it is very important you split the skeletons up. If 2 of them die on the same platform, when they resurrect, the skeletons will they will link together, a red line will form between them. They get a tremendous speed bonus. So fast that they will get from the very outside of the arena to the dragon in about 2.5 to 3 seconds, making it virtually impossible to kill them in time, and guaranteeing that 2 explosions will go off. Very, very bad. Also, if the skeletons happen to die off of a green platform, speed bonus also is applied. They will run faster. Finally, if the skeletons die too close to the dragon, they do not get a speed bonus. If they still die on the green platform, they do not get a speed bonus. However, because they are so close, their general proximity means you have less time to kill them, and if they happen to be close to another skeleton, speed bonus again. So, cannot stress enough, when skeletons spawn, pull them all the way back to the very edge of the arena, kill them on a green platform, and make absolute certain that there is no other skeleton on that platform before the skeleton dies. 1 skeleton per green platform around the edge of the arena. You'll do this a second time, as you're witnessing right now while I'm speaking. So the first time the skeletons resurrect, they walked very slowly. This is the second time around. Dragon dies, the skeletons are going to get up. They're going to be a bit faster this time, so you need to be quicker on the DPS. So if you're a Dragoon, if you're a Monk, Bard, whatever, pop all your cooldowns to increase your damage and start hammering into them. You'll also notice conveniently that the poison has risen in the arena. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Hopefully you're at full health or a reasonable amount of health. Just walk right through it. You have to kill the skeletons because, again, if they touch the dragon, gigantic red AoE is going to blast out from center. Going to do tons of damage. Do not want. The third phase of this battle, you've killed the skeleton groups twice. Dragon gets up a third time. Now he gives up on the skeleton, says this idea wasn't panning out for me. He's going to start summoning Ahrimans, the flying eyeballs. Ignore them if you're a DPS. You're going to focus strictly on the boss. This is going to be a complete DPS burn. Just focus strictly on the boss, and one of your tanks will pull the eye, get them out of the way. You can tank the eye away from the main battle for a fair bit of time while the DPS just work on the dragon. You can burn limit breaks here, do whatever you want. It should only take about 30 seconds to burn down the dragon entirely. You can see his health is just plummeting. There's 4 eyes currently on the battlefield, but generally you will get tanks to pull them away. And you can now see we're up to 6 eyes, but the DPS have almost got the dragon dead. It's just a matter of time now. Limit breaks could be going off. I don't know if we end up using ours or not. I cannot remember. Anyways, that's that. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see everyone at boss number 2.